Hey, everybody, stop working. It's time for a lunch break. Proudly brought to you by Groove Fishing, changing the way you do tackle. Sunline, the best fishing line on the planet. And Spro, makers of the finest tackle available. All right, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to the lunch break. Today, Tuesday, February 10th. Hope everybody is doing well, not working too hard. See a few of you guys in the comment section already. That little intro makes me want to just hoe down every time I hear it. You guys can't see it, but I'm back here just bobbing my head, ready to go and all that. So, hope you guys had a great weekend. Lots to talk about, lots to catch up on. But I see you guys in the comment section right there telling Tony what a fantastic job he did last night. And absolutely, congratulations to Tony on his first show. I mean, it really ain't his first show, but it's his show. You know, he's done some shows for me before, and I knew he'd be able to handle it. Had a great guest, old Mike, the grown ass man from Bass and Boozy and all that. So, congratulations to him. And again, it's just what we're doing here. We're trying to give more opportunity to more people to grow this channel and let guys get out there and bring their strengths to you. So, Tony, absolutely good job right there for sure. And to all you guys, look, if you're watching and you ain't subscribed to the channel, make sure you do that. If you're watching on TikTok, make sure you give us a follow, Facebook, everything as well. So good to see you guys in the comment section. Coleman Jones, let's go ahead and start with you. Jump right in it. Guiding a kid on Kiwi this weekend. Guess he was happy with my job on Hartwell. Had to tell the wife that I'll use the money to pay for Valentine's Day dinner. That's what you got to do, my man. That's what you got to do with that money. Hey, listen, you're going to learn real quick. What's yours is hers, and what hers is hers. That's just the way it is. So let's jump right into the talk today. Now tonight on the live well, we are bringing back Ryan. Had a lot of people really enjoyed last Thursday night show. We were talking spinner baits, floating worms, but there's so many other pre-spawn baits techniques that we can talk about. So I told Ryan, I said, "Come on back tonight. Let's do this. Let's finish up this conversation." So it's just being me and him tonight. And hey, whatever you guys want to talk about as far as those pre-spawn techniques tonight, 8 o'clock, join us. Um, let's for me, MLF forward facing sonar was on at the same time, and I stuck with bass. Yeah, so that's what kind of toxic bass jigs. What's going on TikTok? Appreciate you jumping on. So you guys on YouTube, that I threw that out there that the topic today was going to be the Guntersville Elite things. I watched it. I kept up with it all 4 days. In fact, it's the first time ever I played fantasy bass fishing. I did have two in the top 10. I had Welcher and I had McKinney, but the other ones really wet the bed and they really killed me. I finished kind of middle of the pack nationwide, but I did pay attention to it. And I'm watching it and I'm thinking, this is my opinion. I think there was not a significant difference in the coverage as far as if a person's using scope compared to a person not using scope in those tournaments. That's just my opinion as far as watching it. Now, I do think a lot of people said that they were talking more when they were not using the scope. That might be. I think if you pay attention when they go camera, lots of times those camera guys are going like, "Hey, you're live. Let's give an update," kind of coaching them into talking. But for me personally, it was not such a difference that I'm like, yes. Now, maybe for you guys, it might have been. That's kind of what I want to know. Um, did you guys actually, in your minds, see a significant difference? Now, Nathan's going to jump real quick with a little bit different kind of question for us today. Danny, I have a question. Have you ever heard of the old nuclear aircraft laboratory in the Dawson Forest? Yeah, dude. I mean, I can take you to the fence. Take you to go down the river, all the old train trestles and everything. Yeah, no, it's there, and it's well documented and all that. But yeah, no, it's there, and it is kind of a cool thing. But yeah, it's fenced off and it's flooded, so you're not supposed to be able to get down into it. But definitely is there. Coleman said he finished in the bottom 6% on Bassmaster and the top 1,000% on MLF. It's Tony's got this right here with what I was trying to talk about. Let's face it, we could go back to highlight reels and nobody would ever miss that much of what's currently going on. Bradley Stringfield on TikTok said the only difference to me was the heads were tilted up instead of down. And that's really about the only difference. You basically were still looking at somebody's back and their ass pretty much all the coverage. Now, I did pay attention because it was on Guntersville and it's got all that grass, and I was paying attention to what they were throwing. But let's be honest, even though they said, hey, we're working this grass line here and all that, you kind of were, if you didn't know, and let's just say you were somebody that was just scrolling through and take Sunday morning and you pull up, Fox Sports, which is what it's FX2 or Fox Sport or whatever it was that the elites were on, and you just watched it. A lot of them looked like they were just, oh, we're out in the middle of the lake, let's just cast. And a lot of them were kind of casting blind, of course. They were just kind of figuring out areas. But I don't think it was that noticeable of an improvement. Now, I mean, I would watch it whether it had forward-facing sonar or no forward-facing sonar if I have vested interest in it. I don't watch every tournament out there. This was the first elite tournament, so I definitely watched it. And again, I wanted to see how my fantasy team did. War Eagle the best. Why Swindle and Howell failed. Both local and both have tons of experience fishing this lake. Plus, they are not the scopers. Hey, listen. At the end of the day, it's still fishing, right? At the end of the day, you can take the best laid intentions, the best plans in the world, and if that little booger down there in that water don't want to bite, or you're in there with a bunch of little ones and Big Mama don't want to hit, Becky doesn't want to bite, you're not going to do well. In fact, I had Howell was one of the guys on my fantasy team. He hurt me a little bit. Now, again, I say that in jest. But it's there were a lot of different storylines came out of the top 10. Okay, you had some scopers up there. Day 3, the minnow really pushed the rankings up, but Hank Cherry at the end of the day, don't know, single tail grub, just kind of doing this thing that we all used to. In fact, that's how I used to catch smallmouth up on Blue Ridge. I would take a white curly tail grub, zoom, and I'd chunk it out on the bottom on a jig head minnow, let it hit the bottom, and I'd just slow drag it. And that's how I caught smallmouth. That was pretty cool to see an old school technique work. But, the McKinneys of the world, I picked McKinney to be in the top 10. 100% I picked him because I think I've told everybody that kid can catch fish in this room right here. I was not surprised at Kyle Welcher. I had Kyle Welcher, Alabama boy. So, I picked Kennedy, Howell. There was somebody else. I forget. I'm shocked Tucker finished so low. Oh, hold on a second. I skipped a bunch of them. Sorry about that. Yeah, Zane. What do you think about a grub winning at a high-level tournament? It's exactly what I was saying. Think about this. When was it determined that a grub stopped catching fish? It's always caught fish, right? It is always caught fish. Just sexier things come along, right? And here's the thing. Cherry pulled that out knowing he has to have still been fishing that at some point, maybe off radar or something. Because he's not going to pull something out that he has zero confidence in. I don't care what he says. He might be out swinging for the fences. I call BS. I think he had confidence in that bait on that lake. That was something that he had registered up there in that tank of his. But yeah, the grub never stopped catching fish. And so, hey, it was shocking to see. I guess it was shocking just to see that they were still throwing it or someone was still throwing it, but it was not shocking to me that it catches fish. I don't know, but yeah, no, I didn't have that on my bingo card, if that's what you're asking. Prayers for Emil had a rough tournament at Gville. It seems, hey, listen, everybody does. If it was easy, we'd be able to do it, right? And so every pro will struggle at some point. And Emil's had his teeth kicked in enough locally that I don't think it's going to hurt him. He'll bounce right back at this very next tournament. But yeah, he didn't have a good tournament. He'll be the first one to tell you. A lot of guys just had really awful tournaments. Here's another thing though. The tiebreaker, the tiebreaker on fantasy was total weight. And I said 86.7, 86.8. So I was really close on the weight. I remember O'Cletus, he was on that podcast. He picked 106 pounds. Like he really thought they were getting ready to get into a smash fest. And that just didn't pan out. Now, Vern Outdoors says, I think that was awesome. Just goes to prove that all the high end, big name brand baits aren't always what you need. William Gully Fishing, the old stuff still catches and sometimes better because they see the new stuff too much. 100% on that. Like, take take all this mintering that everybody's doing. All right, you got your flukes, you got your Kitex and all that. You can go across the street over here to Latham, and you can still put an old white curly tail Fat Albert or whatever brand you choose. You can stick them on A rigs, you can stick them on them, ball head jigs and all that. They have never not caught fish. But it's just like we do that as guys, right? We see the shinier, newer thing. Okay, all right. It's just in our nature. But William, you're 100% right. Always has caught fish. It's like, old Zara spook. You can have all these other top waters, but the spook still catches. All right. A Texas rig with the old monster still catches. There's always these techniques from the past that will never not catch fish. And a curly tail grub's one of them. We just didn't expect it, though, did we? What's up, John G? Tyler Shelna, I'm shocked Tucker finished solo too. It sounded like the fish was shallower than most guys thought. Well, again, it's the same thing to me as with a meal and all that. Now you're going to have the asshats out there that's going to say, well, they didn't have their forward facing sonar. BS. They just had a bad tournament. Everybody has a bad tournament. Kevin Van Dam did not win every tournament he ever fished. It just happens. It just happens. I think Tucker, Emil, those cats, they'll bounce back just fine. Just fine coming up on Martin. Outdoor board 225. That's a cold water go-to bait for sure. Yeah, it is. But you know what? I honestly was watching. I was trying to watch this tournament because I'm not very good with the lipless. I don't throw it enough. But I was paying attention to the guys throwing the lipless as much as I could and watching how they were working it, where they were throwing it at. Color. God knows, I don't know how many times I hit pause, go back a little bit, just looking at color, just to see what the guys were doing. So I really had a vested interest because I got buddies on Guntersville. They took me over there and we were catching them a certain way, but they always talk about the traps, always talk about rattle traps on Guntersville. And this was one that I could watch. I didn't expect them to come out with that grub. But you know what? You know how this works, boys. Somewhere this coming up weekend or this week, somebody's out there fishing, either on Guntersville or Lanier or Fault, wherever, and they're going to be throwing a single tail grub that they hadn't even picked up or thought about in 10 years. I guarantee you somebody will be throwing it. Because I got a tournament on Lanier this Saturday. Don't think it might not cross my mind because spotted bass will absolutely slam those things. How about Drew Gill? Yeah, Drew Gill, dude, he's good. I actually reached out to him. I'm going to try to get his butt on the show. I am really going to try to get him on the show. My first confidence jig was a white curly tail grub on a white jig. Now, Tracy Coker, I've never thrown a white jig in my life. In fact, I've only tied a couple of them, and they were swim jigs. But that's very interesting. White on white, baby. White on white. Tyler Shelnut said it was feast or famine. Yeah. But it was even feast or famine for individual anglers throughout the day, right? One minute they're in a spot where they're pop, 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 and then they go hours and hours without a single bite. Some guys were coming in talking about, I only had 7 bites all day. I caught 5. And I'm like, damn, I wish I had that ratio. Because Saturday, if I get 7 bites on Lanier and I catch 5, that is like, I'm telling you, I need to go buy a lottery ticket. But I love it when the guys say that. They come up the way and, how was your day? Well, I got 6 bites. I put 5 in the live one. I'm just thinking, like, dude, because is it not true for me? This is true for me. I get out there. We'll get out there on Lanier. We'll probably catch a few quick early. Okay, I told you everybody, I'm the king of the 2-pound spot. We'll get out there. We'll pop a couple 2-pound spots, get them in the live well, get it going, get our juices pumping, and then I won't get a bite for 2.5 hours. And then all of a sudden, I'll be working whatever it is I'm working. 2.5 hours has gone by. I ain't got a single bite, and then I get slammed, and I'm gonna miss that fish because I'm not mentally ready. Because I done got it in my mind. Well, hell, I ain't got a bite in 2.5 hours. I ain't gonna catch, and I'm not ready. The fact that you could execute 5 in the live well on 7 bites to me is amazing. That's the concentration. I think that's what separates pros from us weekend warriors, right? If you guys can get 7 bites and put 5 in a live well, you've had a absolutely fantastic days. Yeah, Tom, what's up, Tom? Tom says 4-inch grubs are good cold water baits. Now, Coleman says bold prediction. Emil takes the win on Martin. He could. I got to do my fantasy team today. I don't know. Do I go with 5 scopers? Do I go with 5 scopers? Or do I take do I do a couple scopers and a couple Alabama boys in there that fish Martin, a local or something like that? I don't know. It's going to be interesting. What's up, Mike Geiger? Me and the wife are going to try a little bit on Lake Lanier, see how it works out. Good luck. Tony can tell you right now it's hit or miss for him when he was fishing this past weekend. I think first cast or 2 or 3, he had a 4.5 or 4, something like that spot in there, and then it kind of slowed down. That's Lanier for you. That is Lanier for you. I meant to ask Tony, and I haven't talked to him about it, how much traveling you did when you guys fished Saturday or Sunday. Did you run and gun like Emil and the Paul Marks and the Brooks Andersons and all that, or did you get on the spot and did you fish it thoroughly? Did you drop down and look and see, hey, that's not what I want, and go to the next one? Or did you fish it for a while? Jarhead001 on TikTok. If you want to do good, you best put the scopers in at Martin. Yeah, I know, right? I know. That's probably what I'm going to do, man. That is probably what I was going to do. Let's see. Martin is like Alatuna, and Lanier had a baby. Okay, there you go. What's up, old Jeff Brazil? Old local legend on Pickwick, Leon Tidwell, was known for killing smallmouth on a grub. Won a Bassmaster Invitational with one several years ago. Yeah, man, they never stop catching fish. It's just like, it just ain't sexy, right? But I guarantee you, grub sales are up. At least across the southeast, grub sales are up this week. I need to call. I'd be interested to call GTO, call Tim over at Hammond's, maybe down at the dugout. Hey guys, you sell any grubs? What's the grub sales look like? Maybe that'd be a good thing to do on Friday. Matt Robertson was fishing with a $24 rod. I'd like to see that more. Zane said, sure. Listen, I mean, I think I didn't tune in much last night on Tony's show because I was actually working. I was setting up some proposals and stuff, but I popped in long enough to hear Mike Porter talk about rods, about having, and I didn't catch all of it, but I caught enough of it where he said, yeah, he's got some rods here and he's got the NRX and everything. And that's true. Listen, there's nothing that says a cheaper rod won't catch fish. But I also think it is too. I think it is very bait dependent, right? Like if you're really doing some ultra finesse fishing, that $24 rod might catch you a fish, but you're not going to feel the bites you would on an NRX or something like that. It is what it is. But if you're doing, moving baits, reaction baits and stuff like that, yeah, for sure. I mean, at the end of the day, I still think more fish in the history of fishing have probably been caught on a Zebco 33 with a 2-piece rod than any other rod and reel combo or rod out there, right? And it's junk. That's what we all learned how to fish with. Same reason I keep the old rooster tail in my box. If it worked 75 years ago, it will work now. 100%. And Jeremiah did say the other day. Jeremiah did say, don't sleep on Cherry. I do think I remember that, Jeremiah, you saying that. And you know what I like about him? He sure is pro veteran. Now, Hank Cherry, Nick Brown, I did with the NPFL. He's going to be rooming with a couple of guys on the NPFL championship, and Hank Cherry, I think, is rooming with them. And we're going to get the Tuesday before, I believe it's the Tuesday night before their championship. We're going to have all of them on the podcast. So Hank Cherry should be on, and we'll definitely get to talk to him. But he's definitely pro veteran, and I like that. I really do. Danny, you need to throw the spinnerbait A rig Saturday instead of swim baits. You throw those 6 1-ounce spinner baits. You think that's what's going to do it? It might work. What you talking about, Danny? I'm throwing a grub right now. Well, John G, you're old. We old timers, we do that, right? Um, the grub is one of the only lures you can throw anywhere in the world for any species and expect to catch fish, from bluegill to bluefin tuna. Yeah, yeah. Um, and again, just kind of faded into the background a little bit. But Cherry knew something, didn't he? What tournament am I fishing this Saturday? It's an electric only tournament going out of Young Deer with Dahlonega John boats. Mm-hmm. Yep, and it's supposed to rain like hell. Woohoo! But yeah, so we're going out of Young Deer. So there'll be a few of the cats that can go way on out there. They got the battery power and the motors and all that can get way on out there. But the majority of us, if you're fishing Saturday and you're going to come into Young Deer or any of that area, there'll probably be an electric only rig sitting on every point. Just going to go ahead and tell you guys. So just make your plans accordingly. You're going to see it. I'd hate for somebody to come out of Laurel Park and they're flying down there. We're going to Young Deer. They're biting over there. And they're going to pull right in there and they're like, what the hell? Electric only tournament going out of Young Deer. Lanier has been super tough recently. Hopefully the warming trend will have them off the bottom. Maybe, who knows? We will see. Now, Coleman said I had about 7 bites Saturday on West Point, but put 5 in the live well, broke off a big one early that would have put me in at least second. Dude, I'll tell you, listen, that's great ratio. That's a great ratio, dude. I mean, and that's a good day. If you only got 7 bites, you can put 5 in the live well, like I said earlier. That's fantastic. Messick, what's up, y'all? Did y'all see the weights from Santee this weekend? No, I did not. So drop them in the comment section. Tell us what the weights were on Santee. Dad didn't get a single bite and finally admitted, I know what I'm doing with the scope. There you go. Here's Tom's throwing this out there. The grub is better than a trap. It sure did help. I think Cherry threw the jerk bait a lot. He was throwing at the times I watched him, because I didn't sit and watch. I had it in the background a lot. But it seems like, of course, he's throwing a jerk bait. He's on Guntersville and he loves jerk baits. I saw him throwing a jerk bait and I saw him throwing the grub. I'm sure he probably threw other things, but I didn't really pay attention enough during the times he was on camera to see what all he was doing. Minnows catch fish, not grub, says Kent. Quite possibly correct. On Martin, I'd go with the scopers. What will win Martin, spots or largemouth? Good question. I think it'd be a mixed bag. I think it'd be a mixed bag. I'm safe going with that, right? Mixed bag. Because I mean, Lake Martin spots are not Lake Lanier spots. So if a guy comes up with 20 something pounds of spots on Martin, 5 fish, I mean, I think it's going to take some largemouth to win it, but I think you just got to have spots to figure it all out, to mix it all up. And that's what Jarhead said on TikTok. It's going to be a mix. Tyler said, right now, in my opinion, soaking a spot and giving it a good once over will allow you to figure out if there's fish there or not, since they're usually glued to the bottom. What was the water temp this past weekend? Jarhead says, going to need solid spots with a kicker largemouth on TikTok. That sounds about right. Tony said, we soaked in places a little longer than we probably should have. It was so dang cold, I wasn't mad about not running all over. Comfort, man. You got to take that comfortability, right? Kyle Brown says, 1 kicker a day will win. Average 12 to 14 a day will win it. Okay, so Kyle Brown's saying, listen, 4-day total of, you're going to go maybe in the 50s. Maybe in the 50s will win it over there on Martin. Now, Bass Daddy Bates says, I throw grubs on the Alabama rig just to be different. You know, you know what would be interesting to do? Next time you throw an Alabama rig, let's say you got 5, take 3 of them, make them Kitex or something, take 2 of them and make them grubs. And commit to it and see that, and just to see if there is a difference as to what the bass are hitting. I know, I believe it was Tim White. Hell, he's really the only one I ever talked to about A rigs much. He always had an off. I think I'm saying this correctly. He always had an off colored one. So like if he had 4 whites, he had 1 green pumpkin or something like that, and would let the bass kind of dictate. If he kept getting bit on that green pumpkin or whatever it was, I believe that was Tim. He used to do things like that. But just like Tony said, but just like he's been saying, we caught fish where we saw bait nearby. Makes sense. Coleman said, I caught my fish on a grub on West Point, a white and albino 3.5 moochman on a 1/8 ounce ghost head. Okay, I got you that. Grubs are so effective that they put them in survival kits, even ones issued by the federal government for the military backpack back in the day. They catch that many fish. You know what, Jeremiah, you are a trove of information. Never thought about that. Have any of you guys ever tried to make the fish hook off the beer can? Some beer cans got that. Have you ever took the tab off of an aluminum can? I said beer can, and actually tried to make the fish hook and catch a fish with it? I mean, I have not. I'm just curious. Also, too, while it's on my mind, when did Girl Scout cookies start getting smaller? My wife, she said, "Hey, what flavor Girl Scout cookies you want?" And I gave her a couple colors. She brought them home last night. I mean, damn, a box has gotten little. Now I'm pro Girl Scout though. I mean, them little girls get out there and work, and for sure. But the cookie boxes, man, they look like me naked. They ain't impressive anymore. War Eagle the best. All the grubs are the same. Some brands or do some brands outcatch others? Kitech makes great grubs. Should be dominant. I can't give you a good answer on that because the only grubs I ever throw, really, I'll throw a Fat Albert. The only other kind of grub I throw is a crappie jig. But then again, like I told you guys, the best I ever had on Latham over here, my best 5, was a day goofing off trying to catch crappie with a little bitty 2-inch silver and black grub, black on the top, silver belly, trying to catch some crappie. Hell, it might not even been 2 inches. And for some reason, the bass that they were just pounding on that thing. That albino color is fire. Tyler, I did not go buy some of the 4 or 5 size yesterday at Academy for Kiwi. Okay, you guys talking about that. Tyler Shellnut. Danny, one of your competitors asked me for some juice for the electric tournament this weekend. Now, listen, Tyler, don't go be selling me out now. Now, listen, I'll tell you guys, I don't mind it at all, but it is funny. Listen, electric only guys take this stuff serious. If you think we have an off week, right? We 1 week off of our lakes. So it went offline Sunday night at midnight. I know for a fact there are guys in this, they're calling people, hey, what you catching on? If you think I ain't gonna do it, you're crazy. If you think I'm not gonna be calling Underwood and pull Brooks and all that, just give me a direction, guys. Just give me a direction. You're crazy. Because listen, they ain't no info rules in electric only, at least in our club. Let them tell them, hey, listen, tell them. Absolutely. What's up, Pontoon Jody? How you doing, honey? We missed cranking and yanking last night. Hope he's buying his forward-facing sonar. He probably didn't know there was a show last night. He's so glued in on Tuesday and Thursdays. We'll have to let him know. Dudes are 25 years old asking me for waypoints. Hey, listen, give it to them. I'm just one of those like that. Like Chris Gayton a long time ago told me something to do in one of my tournaments, and I was actually in a boat with him watching him do it. And I tried to replicate it. I couldn't replicate it. Did the exact same things. I couldn't make it work. So I'm not that big of a deal. Like, don't tell nobody nothing. Now you can say, hey, I'm throwing a shaky head on a point. Well, there's going to be 25 guys throwing a shaky head on that point, and only 2 of them are going to get bit because they're doing something a little different than the other 23. So it's all good. And hey, listen, and again, my mortgage payment is not dependent on whether I win that electric only tournament, which is a good feeling. What did it take to win the high school tournament on Lanier? I do not know. There's Doug. What's up, Doug? I see you in there. I know I saw you earlier. Okay, good. Here we go. Rain chances. have actually diminished until later on Saturday. Might be some scattered short showers, but not much according to the latest forecast. You guys are fishing out of Bolden Mill Saturday. I like old Bolden Mill. You ain't even got to. I mean, you ain't even got to crank the boat. Turn around, and throw it at the boat ramp. Let's see. Messick, I think it was 21-6-8 or something for the high school tournament on Lanier. And damn, I thought I was getting about caught up with the comments. What's up, Cam Fox? 38 pounds. Okay, it took 38 pounds for first, 35 for second. Murray took 46 pounds in 2 days also. He was talking about Sandy Cooper right here. I got Murray this weekend with all the college national championships going on. That ought to be fun and crowded. Messick said, and y'all should try a grub on a spinnerbait. And now listen, here's something funny right here. He's pulling this up. Coleman, imagine having 35 pounds and getting beat by a 38-pound bag. Anytime you guys tell a story like that, it always makes me think about Mr. White up here. He fishes electric only. I hope I'm getting my dates right. It might be wrong, but 3 years ago, he won the electric tournament out of Bald Ridge with like 19 and some change and had big fish or something for that tournament. I think this was 2 years ago. So he goes back the next year. I tied him up some jigs, and I tied some jigs for some other guys too. Well, he's coming to the scales with like 23 with a 6.5 pound largemouth. Okay, he won it with 19 the year before. He's got 23. There's only one team behind him, and he goes up, and everybody's ooh, ah, ooh. Well, the next guys come up behind him, and they had like 24 and a 7-pounder. And so your two big bags are right there at the end. So he had a 4-pound increase from the year before, something like that. Don't quote me exactly on it. And then he got beat by the last guys weighing in by a pound and lost big fish. And he was sitting at the shop, and I said, "How'd that feel?" And listen, he's just an old straightforward guy, like a big kick in the nuts. That's exactly what he said. And I said, "I bet." 44 degrees on Lanier, 41 on West Point. Saturday rain tournament, original floater Rapala or a 1/4 ounce black buzzbait. Tom, black buzzbait in 44-degree water. Well, it might be a few degrees warmer this week. Jeremiah said, I ran grubs on an A-rig for stripers and they love it, but I found I get more bites running 4 swim baits and a grub on the middle wire, different color, kind of like what Tim was saying, I believe. However, Talk did win up river on largemouth last time the elites were at Martin. Oh, Jarhead, why are you throwing that in on me, making me think? You got me something to think about right there. AOY race, who you got this year? I'm sorry. Messick says Trey McKinney. Hard to vote against that boy. It is really hard. I mean, you got so many good ones that could win it. All right. You just got so many good ones. I mean, hell, it's hard to vote against Johnston. I know doing it 3 times in a row would be like just an absolutely outstanding, feat. But he's so damn good and consistent too. There's so many of them. If I had to pick money today, I'd go McKinney just because I think he's due. Jeff Brazil, listen to this, guys. This is from the ice storm. Finally got power back at my lake house after 16 days, and it's supposed to rain all weekend. He's ready to go up there and go fishing. Yeah, the weather is not your friend, right? Tracy Coker said, jerk. I think we all need to call Brooks for some tips. Jerk bait got my fish Saturday. I don't give out all my juice. I give out generalities. I get that. And I realize that's what most guys do too. Now, back on the grub thing, some grubs do outfish others. Certain brands have better molds and better plastic salt content, in my opinion, as far as bass. For saltwater, the scented ones outfish unscented at least 5-1. Okay, makes sense. These bass on Lake Hartwell have been blowing bait fish out of the water, but I can't reach them. It sucks, but it's beautiful to see. Mm-hmm. And that kind of crossed my mind as I wonder if I'd see any schooling. And if I did, would it be stripers? Let's see. I think we're about caught up now. Tracy did say too, there were some busting up top Saturday. Could have been stripers chasing bait balls. It was too damn windy to determine what it was. Now Jarhead said, what won the high school on West Point Saturday? I don't know if that's what the guys were talking about earlier. If it was West Point or one of them, I don't know. You guys, if that was the West Point High School thing, what did you guys say? Side bet a bucket of chicken. And Nathan said he sent me a video. Okay, I'll check. Oh, I see it up there. I'll check it out after the show. All right. So we can keep talking about this, but also too, let's go ahead and get your thoughts because this is the way it works. Super Bowl. You guys, if you want to talk about the halftime show too, I just put Super Bowl in a rabbit. You can talk about whatever you want. I just don't want to get into politics. Did you enjoy watching the Super Bowl? I had the Patriots winning. I got my ass handed to me. Congratulations to the Seahawks. But did you enjoy watching it? Now, I didn't change at halftime. I did not change to the conservative halftime show because I was laid on the couch and my wife fixed me some buffalo chicken dip and all that. And so I'm laying there kind of like in a coma. So I kind of opened my eyes a little bit when it was going on, but pretty much I listened to it. I didn't understand a damn word the guy said. And that's okay. I don't know what he said, but it did remind me because you guys remember, I went to Puerto Rico last year, watched some baseball, hunted them pythons, ate a ton of food, went to some the festivals and all that. And that's what it sounded like to me, other than his voice, but the music and everything, it just reminded me of Puerto Rico. So, but I didn't get into the politics of it all. But that football game, God, that thing sucked. It was so boring to watch. I fell asleep. Um, guys, talking about big fish there. I could use 3 to 4 pound spots for sure. Tom said yes. We ate taco salad and salsa dip. Hey, no complaints. What did y'all think about the halftime? Like I said, it just sounded like my trip to Puerto Rico. I was laid on my couch and I opened my eyes up just enough to see, some of the Latinas dancing a little bit. And I went, okay. All right. I see you. But for the most part, I just kind of kept my eyes shut and just kind of listened to it. The game absolutely, well, it sucked for me because I wanted the Patriots to win. Was not a very good game. Didn't watch the bunny. Watched the All American halftime show. I mean, like I said, I ain't getting into the politics of it all. Now, I will tell you this. I'll tell you what and this is just me. And some of you guys may be guilty of this, and you are, I'm sorry. The most annoying thing that I took from the Super Bowl was yesterday. It had nothing to do with the game. It had everything to do with the guys on Facebook going, I didn't watch the Super Bowl. I ain't watching that. And then have an opinion on the halftime shows and all that. Like, okay, just if you didn't watch it, you don't like NFL. Okay, move along. There were so many guys out there, and some of them are my buddies, and I'm like, God, I wish you'd stop. Okay, if you don't have to like the NFL, that's fine. Good. You can like college football better than NFL. Good. 100%. You could have watched the All American halftime show. Good. You can watch the one that was there. I'm good. This is a big land, big enough for everybody to get out into politics. But it was that guy that was like, well, I didn't watch it, but let me tell you my opinion. And I'm like, that guy was annoying to me. Sorry. Jeremiah said, I studied Spanish 3 years and been to Mexico 4 times, and he didn't understand a bit of it. Listen, in high school, I made a big mistake. I was dating a girl in high school at the time that was pretty smart, and she wanted to take Latin. Back then, when I was in high school, you had 3 options. You had Spanish, French, or Latin. Well, I mean, I followed my girlfriend over there to the Latin class. I took 2 years of Latin. I was the Latin club president my senior year of high school. I can't speak a lick of Latin other than Puelas Bona. The girl is good. That is all I got out of 2 years of Latin. Now, hindsight being 50-50, I would have gone back and I took Spanish and I'd have paid attention to it. But who's thinking about that in high school? Yeah, we call buffalo chicken dip crack dip around here because it's as addicting as crack cocaine. 100%. My Lord. I mean, like, what did you guys eat? You guys out there, what was your snack of choice if you had snacks if you watched it or didn't watch it? Hell, I don't care if you didn't watch it. Just what was you eating? Um, Velveeta cheese dip's good and all that, but I like it spicier a little bit. So I make my wife put a little extra hot sauce in the buffalo chicken dip. I studied Spanish 3 years and I've been to actual Mexico 4 times speaking to the locals, so I understood some. I'm just mad he didn't perform Booker T at the Super Bowl. I don't even know what song that is. I didn't even know who Bad Bunny was. I'm so out of the loop. All I'm sitting there thinking is like, "Hey, damn, of all the names you could take, why Bad Bunny?" And I'm sure it means something. I'm sure it means something. I know Ronald Acuna, for you Braves fans, made a guest appearance out there. I don't know if you caught him or not, but he was in the halftime show. Yeah, it was pretty crazy the amount of people that immediately took to social media to bash the other side. Man, ain't it? See, listen, that's the thing, man. We're so divided. It's just like forward facing, no forward facing. You got people on this end and people on that end, and the majority of us sit right here in the middle. And I'm like, whatever. Coleman said homemade jalapeno bacon turkey burgers, homemade fries, and some cookies. Now, Friday, my wife had an uncle that died, and so a lot of her family was down from South Carolina, and we went out to eat with Friday night with her uncle to Underground in Dahlonega. I don't know if you guys ever been there. Um, and I had this jalapeno cream cheese slider. Candied jalapenos and cream cheese mix sliders. Like, oh my goodness, that stuff was absolutely fantastic. Um, it's not that serious to get mad about somebody performing at the halftime show. Like, there are bigger and better fish to fry. Now, listen, I will tell you this: they are in San Francisco. I would have chosen Metallica. I'm not gonna lie to you. I mean, I would have chosen Metallica. Um, that's just because I like that kind of music better. But I'm just telling you, like, if you guys ever go to Puerto Rico, that's it, dude. If you get outside of the city, I mean, San Juan is kind of really Americanized. But if you get outside of that, I mean, that music and all that, I mean, it pretty much is it. The baseball games in Puerto Rico, if you ever get a chance to go watch a Latin American baseball game, my God, go do it. Bolt Swim Base. What's up, Danny? When is the podcast going to be back on Apple for iPhones? Listen, here's the deal with that. I started putting it on, but I am working with a channel, a major network channel. I say major network. I'm working with a network to put our podcast on their platform, and they will stream it to Spotify and Apple and all that. So that's in the works. It just comes out. I'm not gonna lie, I'll make a little more money using that, going that route, and I don't have to pay to put it on there. So sorry about the pause and that. That's what's going on. It is coming back though. It is. It'll be back before you know it. Um, can we get Megan Maroney and Sabrina Carpenter next year? Who the hell is that? I don't even know who Megan Maroney is. I am way out of the loop, dude. Society doesn't have big enough brain cells to have open minds, for sure. Nathan had bacon wrapped smoked mushrooms. Ooh, now you have my attention. I like mushrooms. Now, Vern said, I think having the alternative show is a great idea. I don't watch football or halftime shows, but giving people an option is the most American thing that can be done. Yeah, but listen, Vern, I agree with you. But this, like, I'm a conservative. I vote conservative. I have no problem telling anybody that whatsoever. All right. But sometimes even we as conservatives can be like asshats sometimes telling everybody, if you don't watch this, you're not with us. All right. And listen, and I liked Kid Rock when Kid Rock was back when Kid Rock was Kid Rock back a long time ago. I mean, he doesn't move the needle for me right now. Politics or no politics. It's just, I don't know. I just didn't want to expend the energy on having to reach over there and getting that remote and changing the channel to find out where it was. But if you like that stuff, great. Yeah, it is American. You have options, 100%. But sometimes we're guilty of it too. Um, Tom, I went to my buddy's house. He said, "Do you know Spanish?" I said, "Yeah, mesa chiqui women." I don't know what that means. Side note: Puerto Rico has insane tarpon fishing. It does. For anyone wanting to get that off the bucket list, since I hear so many people say that, uh, Bad Bunny has to do with fertilization. Okay, works for me. I don't know. I don't put that much effort into it. Uh, Burn the bacon just a tad, Danny. I'm telling you, it gives it that natural seasoning. What kind of mushrooms do you use? What kind of mushrooms are in your uh that? Jess says I must be out of touch with current artists. That's exactly what I'm saying. That's exactly. I mean, I don't know any of them. And the ones I do know, I don't really like. You can't complain about not understanding the song and then listening to bot with bot. I'm not. I didn't complain. That's the thing is I didn't complain. I didn't understand the word. I just said it sounded like when I was in Puerto Rico. See, go back and listen. I did not complain. I just said I didn't understand a damn thing you were saying. It was all right with me. It's kind of like when my wife's fussing at me. As you get older, you develop this, and Tyler, you will over time. They've got Iron Dome. Women have Iron Dome, right? We have selective hearing. And I wish there was a sexier term for it, but sometimes my wife can be sitting there just yeah, blah, 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 and I don't understand a word that's coming out of her mouth, but I know she's talking. So I acknowledge in my brain something's being said, and either by her tone I really like it, or her tone I don't like it. And it's kind of like the way I approach that Super Bowl show. Like I'm seriously, I opened my eyes just long enough to see some booty shaking going on, and I went, yeah, all right, and I closed my eyes again. I'm saying that for all the people complaining. True. Um, but God, can't we just get politics out of sporting events? Selective hearing. I do. I have selective hearing. It's a gift. Um, I don't like if I came on here every day, or if I came on here, y'all might let me get away with it once if I went on a political rant. But if I kept doing it over and over and over again, you guys are going to chime out because this is not a political show. What actors and sports people and all that, what their politics is and all that, I'll give you one. I'll give you one time. After that, I'm not doing phase fishing. Sorry, joining late. That's all right, dude. Anytime you can come by, it's great. But none of you guys answered my Girl Scout cookie question though. How many of you guys have bought Girl Scout cookies in the last couple years, only to notice the packaging getting smaller? And if you said something, I missed it because I got a box of Thin Mints. What's your favorite Girl Scout cookie if you do eat them? I told my wife to get these lemon drops, and then I'm always a fan for Thin Mints. But I saw the package and I went, what the hell? I don't know if the prices went up, but I know the packaging got smaller. And I don't know if it's still the same amount of cookies or not. My wife always gets some nasty ass. There's one of them I can't stand, but I'm a Thin Mint guy and the lemon drops. That coconut one that they got or whatever, not a fan. Now, if you guys see, um, if you guys are going fishing this weekend, let's talk about it a little bit because I'm gonna ask Ryan this tonight when we talk about it. We're going to have some warm days. Now, it is supposed to get cold again after next weekend or something. I saw something Glenn Burns put out or something. We're going to have another polar vortex. When the hell that became a term, too, I don't know. Like, I don't remember growing up in the 80s or the 90s, especially the 80s when I was in high school and my early adults in the 90s. I don't remember ever hearing anything called a polar vortex. And I sure as hell know that the only thing that got named was hurricanes. Now you get a line of thunderstorms named Sabrina. And it's Storm, whatever. I don't know why in the hell we name everything. Thin Mint, yes, they have gotten smaller. Thin Mint is top tier, 100%. The cookies got smaller as my stomach got bigger. Same with something else. You lie like a dog, dude. I never buy them, but they kind of just appear. I guess somebody in my house likes them. They're pretty good though. Well, I mean, I had my daughters were in Girl Scouts back in the day, but my wife handled that stuff, right? Trey never did Boy Scouts because we were always on a ball field or something like that. All right, see you, Vern. Have a good day, buddy. Now, so coming up this weekend, Coleman says there'll be 4 rods on my deck. Minnow 1, Minnow 2, drop shot, and jerk bait. Maybe a 5th with a Nico. And then Nathan jumped back on. I thought the same thing when I heard them name that ice storm. I was like, what? Yeah, like when did all this start? like I really spent the first 20 years of the 2000s of this century, the first 20 years, like I absolutely didn't pay the first bit of attention to any of that. And then I wake up one day, we got Winter Storm Clarice, Tropical Storm Martin, who turns into Hurricane Felicia, that goes back to being a low depression named Charlie. I can't keep up with it. We also have atmospheric rivers. Doc Holliday said, "True, yeah, what the hell is that? It's just raining hard. 100%. That is absolutely true. We got an atmospheric river, and it's just like back in the day, man. It's like, hey, it's gonna rain the next 5 days, and not all rivers are created equal, right? Just like, why do we do the things that we do as human beings? Shrinkflation. That's with the Girl Scout cookies for sure. Uh, they just they just called it a strong cold front, not a vortex back then. See, us older guys for sure know what the hell we're talking about. Now, if back in the 80s, if you said we got a polar vortex coming, we probably would have thought that was nuclear war or something. We'd be hiding out in the hall with books over our heads, kind of way we do the way we did things back in the day. Like, let's just go out and hold a book over our head and hope like hell the tornado doesn't just knock the building down on top of us. The fire drill, let's all go outside. We just ran. It was crazy. But we didn't know what a polar vortex was to save our life. And atmospheric river. There's so many things now. Well, even it's in everything. Everything. Jeff said they just named it. What was the name of it, Jeff? They just named the damn ice storm we just had. I just called it SOB. I've run a chainsaw more in the last 2 weeks than the previous 25 years. But see, here's the thing, Jeff. Here's the thing. If you and I are fortunate enough to be around in 20 more years, somebody's going to go up to, and I don't know what the name of it was, but let's just say it was Charlie. Let's just say it was Charlie. Somebody's going to come up to you and go, man, do you remember Winter Storm Charlie? Now, you may, because you've had to run that chainsaw, you'd be like, hell yeah, I remember that. Like, to me, I'd be like, huh? I would say, if you had said, hey, you remember that ice storm we had back at the beginning of 26? I'd be, yes. Winter Storm Charlie. Hold on a second. Let's see. The Live Well podcast. Are you going to be at the No Way Outdoors Fishing Expo? Just wondering. Yes, I'll be there Saturday for sure. I think me and Tony are going to go hang out with Brazillo at the Brazillo Baits. But yeah, we will be there. Fern. Okay, Fern. Bass Daddy Baits. All right, here we go. American game, American speaking crowd, and American viewers. It was a statement made by them with the rainbow flag NFL logo and all. Leftists have a massive grip on the companies of America. I want to ask you a question. You ever been to Puerto Rico? Just out of curiosity, have you ever been to Puerto Rico? You know it's American, right? It ain't a state, but you know that if you go into Puerto Rico, there's American flags all over it. You go to San Juan, there's Walmarts, McDonald's, and everything. I get it. But American speaking crowd, granted, listen, I think everything should be in English, but there's a whole bunch of people speak Spanish. I'm okay with it. I think the more, if you guys are against the rainbow flag for the various reasons, the more you draw attention to it, the more attention it gets. I don't know. I don't really want to argue it. I get it. I understand the emotion on both sides. But, we don't live in a world where America is cut off from the rest of them like when I grew up, right? I mean, it's a global world. Now, granted, we are America. I believe in borders and all that. I'm not saying that, but it's kind of like, if you say that, then like, I mean, it's bass fishing. We're gonna go like that's an American game. You can't do that, and you got to make the Japanese guys come over, and you got to talk English when they interview you. If you don't talk English perfectly, you can't get interviewed. I don't know. I don't know. I get it. I'm as American as the next guy. And again, I vote Republican, dude. I have never voted for a Democrat in my entire life, ever. And my family will tell you I've never done. But like that, like to me, it's just it was a damn football game. It didn't influence me that much. It just does not. It doesn't move the needle for me. Some people maybe it does. My blood pressure did not get up because the guy didn't say anything in English. Because like I said, I've been to Puerto Rico and had to sit there and had to have a guy interpret for me. And then some of them speak very good English over there. They speak too. It's all right. I get it. And it's not that I don't have opinions. I have opinions. It's just I just think there's bigger things in the world. Um, well, get some. I haven't watched football since they decided to take knees, and I'm 100% truthful about that. Okay, I got you, dude. I'm not going to tell you you're wrong. Not going to tell you you're wrong, and that's like you do you, 100%. But I can't sit here. I can't sit here as an American and say you do you, and then fuss about what they do too. You see what I'm saying? As long as it's legal, I get it. I don't care about it at all, though. To be honest, I don't watch NFL anyways or drink Bud Light. Again, appreciate your opinion on that. That's the great thing about America. You don't have to. We are a melting pot. You kind of some parts of the pot are hotter than others. Um, I'm so tired of the left versus right stuff. I have conservative views, but both sides are terrible for the country. I thought it was I thought it was for all the Latino NFL football players. Now get some. We speak English in America. I mean, goddamn, dude. Come on. See, like that. Yeah, we speak English. We also speak a lot of Spanish, and there's some guys in here that are bilingual that speak other ones too. It was listen, it was what 5 minutes of a Spanish speaking in the middle of a football game. Is it really the uproar needed? But you don't watch football, so that's what I'm saying. Now, you don't even watch the game. So what does it matter? Did you do any fishing in Puerto Rico? Yes, I did, and chased pythons. Now, um, does anyone not know the NFL is rigged and scripted? It's blatantly obvious. Reservoir Runner, don't throw that on there now. Uh, I, I will say this though. Now, listen, I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but it does seem like over the past 5 years, a lot of things people were fussing about have started coming true, and you can read into that whatever you want. Like I try to sit back and I'm like, okay, let me tell you how I approach my day. Like I always read. I'll get on here. I'll pull up the Associated Press. I'll see what the headlines are, and I know it's a little skewed. See, I know it, but I watch Fox News, and I know it's a little bit skewed. So I kind of try to take a hit here, there, and just kind of somewhere in the middle. Kind of somewhere in the middle. Sometimes Fox News is blatantly, even though I'm conservative, they're blatantly so far out there that's just like, guys, come on. Same with CNN or MS. I'm just kind of like, it's in the middle. But these conspiracy theories, like they keep popping back up, and you just kind of like eventually some of them are like, oh, there you go. Um, I watch NFL. Now get some long run. It matters. You'll see. Okay, explain it in the comments. I'm all for a good debate. Let's explain it in the comments. The halftime show was garbage. Again, hey, listen, I get it. I know Puerto Rico is the USA. It actually is. They don't get the vote. They don't get the vote for sure. Danny, I'm not sure what you're talking about is a theory. I don't know. It's just some things. Bottom line is, if you can bet on it, it's rigged. Why? Because the house don't lose. Reservoir Runner, they do make money somehow, some way, right? I get it. But here's the thing: like I can't tell you how it's rigged. I can't prove it's rigged. I might can think some of it's fishy. How about that? I can think it's fishy, but I don't know. I really don't know. Um, but I just like I don't know. I tell you why it don't bother me. If I'm gonna be honest, now, I'm a heathen. I'm a heathen, but I do believe in Jesus Christ, and I do believe in the Lord. And like I'm really only concerned about there. I'm not saying I'm not concerned about here. I am, but it's like I'm more, I don't know, maybe my mindset's more there, and maybe I should pay more attention to here. I don't know. Um, they can't fly to Florida and vote, Big Bass Daddy Bates. I mean, it's not the way it works. Now, some might try, but that's not the way it's supposed to work. How about that? They're not. They're not. I mean, it's. I got a big dose of it while I was down there. These liberals have convinced these 4+ pound bass to follow, but not commit to my minnow. And the Republicans keep making me buy more minnows. Great comment. Great comment. Listen, I will say this. Like, I can say this though for sure. I'll say this for sure. 100%. Like, I appreciate all your views. I'm not going to tell you any of them are stupid. I'm not going to tell you you shouldn't believe that way. I'll be glad that we can talk about it. But at the end of the day, I still love you. See, that's what I think is what's wrong with the country. It's not so much this or that. It's the fact that if you think differently than me, if you and I are not on the same page, I can't be your friend or like you or whatever. That's where I think the biggest problem is. Um, with and again, I'm not the brightest bulb in the pack, but I think that's where the biggest problem is. It's like, okay, I see you guys. I see what you guys are saying. Agree or disagree doesn't matter. I still, you know what? I'm glad you're here. I'm glad we can talk about it. We're not going to go out in the yard and have a fist fight over it, and it's okay. I mean, it's all right. That's America. That's what it's supposed to be, right? And it's both sides. Both sides are guilty of it. Now I will say one side gets a little more violent than the other one, but both sides, and so I'm okay with that. Um, I just try to be friends with everybody again, and I'm friends with a lot of different people, a lot of different people that believe in some really crazy things, and even amongst my children, I've got 3 children, and I have daughters that believe differently. And I have a son, and he's out there wherever the hell he is, he's out there, and it's okay. I love them all. We don't get in arguments about politics. We don't get in arguments about religion. We'll talk sometimes, but we do not. I won't allow it. When it gets to where I see it's getting feisty, I tell them all shut the hell up because you're in the land of Dan. Exactly. I welcome and hope people disagree with what I believe. That's what makes America great. People look, believe, operate, and talk differently than me, and I love it. Makes life fun. Um, Jeremiah says, I don't understand how people argue about politics because it sucks all the way around, and we still are at the mercy of the elites and politicians either way. Well, see, here's the thing, Jeremiah. Like, I don't wake up thinking I'm at the mercy of anybody other than my wife. She scares the hell out of me more than the elites and the politicians do. I'm just saying, I'll tell you this, though. I will say this. If I were doing the Super Bowl, it would have been Metallica or something. I may not have picked a total Spanish speaking uh leftist, like what some of you say, halftime show. I wouldn't, but I wasn't in charge. But I will tell you this. I went down to Puerto Rico where basically that culture is down there. And in Puerto Rico, it's the same thing. You have very conservative and very, you have right wing, left wing. It's just exactly the same there as it is here. And even the Bahamas, when I was there, it's the same. It's all different. So I tell you what, the time I spent in Puerto Rico, what was good is like number one, the food is freaking fantastic. All right. To see somebody else's culture that's a little bit different, and I'm not necessarily saying broaden your horizons, but listening to how people think, because everybody's own story is their story, right? How they got to where they're at and what affected you, how you grew up, kind of help influences all this, all kinds of things. I just had a damn good time while I was down there. I mean, bottom line, I went down there, you know what? I understood about a third of what was being said. I'm friends with some of them on Facebook now. I have to get the language interpreter to switch it over so I can understand when they make their Spanish post. But they're at the end of the day, they're just people. Um, what politician goes to jail? None of them, and they're all crooks. R's and D's are co-workers for the USA Corporation. Reservoir Running, you might be right, dude. You might be right. I don't know. I again don't know. The only thing I wish was different about our country is that we were able to agree on faith because then we would all have something in common, and that means something. I know I'm probably wrong. Man, listen. But it's not that ain't gonna happen. But I get like, and then some guys might not follow me anymore because I don't necessarily agree with them 100% on, and that's okay. It's okay. Um, I wish it weren't so, but it's not. But as far as I'm concerned, I heard a guy singing in Spanish. I didn't understand him. I opened my eyeballs to see some booty shaking for a second. Went, all right, closed my eyes back, sitting there going, what do the Patriots have to do in the second half to get past the defense of the Seahawks? And and my stomach is so damn full. I ate too much of that buffalo chicken dip. The dog's got to go pee, and I'm too full to get up and let him go out and do it. And Tony's got a show on, and that's where my mind was at. Like I didn't get into it. And Kid Rock, bless his heart, I bought his albums when he first came out. Like and I don't even know who the hell else performed. Danny, it's not about creating division. Their ultimate agenda is to keep us divided everywhere. Politics, religion, sex, money, education. Think about it. But here's the thing: is like I'm on this earth for a short time. God, this is gonna sound like I don't care, but I don't give two shits. I mean, I don't have time to think about the USA Corporation. Um, maybe you're right. I don't know. Um, I was just like, honest to goodness, like seriously. Here's the thing: is like you're only divided over politics, religion, sex, money, education if you choose to be divided about politics, religion, sex, money, or education. We're only divided if we choose to be divided. That's just me. This was a lot more fun when we were talking about grubs. To me, too. Yeah, I agree. I told you I didn't want to go into it, but I mean, like, listen, grubs, it's going to turn in a second. We'll be fussing about forward facing sonar. I agree with you. But that's my point, Bass Daddy Bates. That's actually my point is like, I spend very little time worrying about all the other stuff. I just do. Um, the Seahawks were on absolute lock the whole game. It was insane. They should have hired Kubiak. Yeah, football's turned into butt ball. He said hillbilly. I said see y'all. All right. But okay, so let's go. We'll finish it up on fishing talk. We'll finish it up on some fishing talk for Big Daddy Bates because listen, I agree with you. I agree with you. Now, what if I let you guys pick? I'm gonna carry 5 rods. I'll have 5 rods rigged up. Probably that's about what I do. 5 or 6. I'll have 3 bait casters and 3 spinning rods. Generally, that is my arsenal. What I take, I try to keep it at 6 rods when I go fish. It's number one because the boat I'm in, I don't have a ton of room. I'll let you guys pick 2 of my rods. 1 spinning rod, 1 bait caster rod. We'll talk about it all week. And then on Thursday, I'm gonna try to record this. We're gonna try to record this tournament too, if we can figure out the way on. It's a new boat. I don't have the standard plugs where I can put a go. I actually got to make mounts, but I'm gonna record some of it. I'm gonna let you guys choose one of my baits, and I'll fish with it. Now, is it grubs? I gotta see if I own some grubs. I think I have 1 pack of white ones. Wacky rig. Listen, that's a given, dude. Clayton, that's a given. That is a given. Now the choice is, do I go weightless or do I Nico it a little bit and get it on down? Let's see, that might change a little bit. Shaky head, jerk bait. I will have it. See, that's the thing. I will have a jerk bait on. Let's see what Messick says. Shaky head, a jig. I will not have a minnow on. Spinner bait, maybe. Crankbait, spinner bait, jerk bait, and your wacky rig. That's probably pretty close, but there's 2 more, right? There's 2 more that I'm gonna have on. Since you aren't a scoper, yeah, I do not have scope on my boat. Nico, jerk bait, shaky, a little John, and an underspin. Good choices right there, guys. I think I know a couple places where there's some grass. I'm gonna have a rattle trap tied on. It ain't Guntersville grass and anything like that, but I am gonna yo a rattle trap a little bit. Jerk bait for sure. Now, Carolina, I am not a closet Carolina rigger. I might have it on though. You never know. It's just gonna be curious. I've had Randy Callahan. I've had a grub. Oh, this is good. I've had a grub on ever since this cold weather set in. Now, Randy, how do you work it? Do you just put it on a jig head and just slow roll it? Are you working it in deeper parts of the water column, or are you going down to the bottom and slow rolling it? What will the water temp be? Sorry if I missed it. You know what? It's in the guys were reporting earlier in this show 44. We're going to warm up a little bit, so my guess is it's probably going to be mid to upper 40s. Danny, you got to put that rooster tail on unless there's tons of grass. No scope, I'd go Nico and crank. Are you eventually going to put forward facing sonar on your boat? Yes, I'm actually I'm trying to get a sponsorship for a TV show, and a boat's kind of involved in that, and I'm working it. It will have it if I got it. A Ruka shad for the trap. What about crankbaits? If I do, it'll be a Little John or a rock crawler. Reservoir. But see, that's the difference. Do I start off with a Little John? Do I start off with a rock crawler? See, I mean, you never know. You need a football jig on with rocks. I hate football jigs. I'd rather throw an Arky style, but I still can work it on rocks. Randy on the bottom. I think I might do that, dude. I'm gonna see what kind of grubs I got. I mean, it's the same principle as throwing an underspin too this time of year in a ditch, getting it on the bottom and slow rolling it, right? Am I wrong in that? Okay, two crankbaits, a spinner bait, a jerk bait, a wacky rig, and a lipless. There's your 6 rods. Jeff Brazil. Jeremiah says crankbait, jig, jerk bait on the casting rod, wacky rig, shaky head, maybe a drop shot on a spinning. I don't know what lake it is, but you can't miss with any of them. It's Lanier. ATV all day, baby, Cam says. And Clayton said a Sakamata. You guys that's okay. We jumped right back into the fishing. I don't know. We're gonna kind of discuss that all day. Let's do this as the weather changes each and every day as we get into. By the end of the lunch break Thursday, we're gonna nail down my 6 rods. And I'll start going through that. Danny, think about a flat side crankbait like a Fritz side. I got plenty of them. I got plenty of the Spro stuff. Let's do this though. And I'll get together some stuff. And I might say Thursday on the lunch break, I might say, okay, guys, I'm going to throw a flat side or whatever. Here's my options for Lake Lanier. And I'm going to hold you up some. You say, hey, let's try that. I'm going to let you guys choose my rods that I'm going to start off with. So anyway, we'll do that. Fun discussion today, guys. So I know we went all over the place. It's kind of like the way I make love. I'm all over. My wife says probably not, but anyway, tonight, 8:00, join us again. Me and Ryan. We're going to keep talking about pre-spawn from now up into the spawn baits and techniques you can use. Again, we covered spinner bait and the floating worm last Thursday night. We'll dive into some other things too. Or if you want to have some questions, if you got questions and stuff about spinner baits that didn't get answered the other day or the floating worm, we'll answer those again tonight too. But we're just going to have fun with it. You guys jumped in there. Danny, I have some spot choker underspins. Do you think I could do that technique that you're talking about from the bank without getting hung? Yeah. Yeah, you could. Bottom line says your fish, Reservoir Runner says, bottom line, your fish will come 10 foot or less. There you go. If it gets cloudy, I would do a matte Pro Blue right there. Oh, in that case, swap the wacky and shaky head for a Nico and finesse crankbait. You could do what I do, Jeff says, glide bait rods and 5 glide bait rods and 2 spinning rods. And with that water temp, got to think staging areas. All right, so listen, guys. Listen, that's your homework. We'll do that next couple of days. We'll just keep talking. We're gonna kind of, despite whatever the conversation is, we'll kind of whittle it down into those specific things, for sure. So, anyway, hey, listen, I've enjoyed it today. I know, like I said, we went all over the place. I love all of y'all, even if you are different than me. I really do. I'm glad you spent some time with me like that. It makes me feel really nice. I feel really nice. Actually, I'm going out. My brother-in-law, who's my fishing partner, he's going to be here in about 15 minutes, so we're going to work getting the boat ready. My boat's not even ready for Saturday, so we got to put that thing together. But it's going to be fun. And listen, tomorrow, I am doing the midday show. I'm doing the lunch break from Atlanta Safe House down off Union Hill Road. They're sponsor and all that. Talk to Jake. I'm just going to he's got a table. I'm just going to take the computer and the camera down there and all that. And we're just going to do the lunch break from there tomorrow. But if you're in the area of Alpharetta off Union Hill Road, look up atlantasafehouse.com and you'll get the address. If you want to come hang, you can come hang. How many of y'all think we should fish with Barbie doll armed with a wacky rig? Dude, I'd do it. In fact, I had a Zebco that was basically like a Barbie rod when I grew up, and I remember finally splitting it in half. It was one of the best days of catfishing I ever had on my dad's pond. I caught so many catfish that day that it just splintered, and by the end of the day, it's a little built-in reel. You know what I'm talking about? Something like the Barbie ones. And I had about like six. I don't know. I had one eye up above it. It had split. I'd caught so many catfish. Um, let's go. We are back on the road. But listen, if you guys want to come hang out at Atlanta Safe House tomorrow, shoot shit, just say hey. Come on by and do that. But if not, I'll be there and we'll do the same show. Just gonna be a different background. But tonight, 8 o'clock, me and Ryan, you guys come back. Enjoy the rest of your day. Don't work too hard. And we will see you in about, I don't know, 7 hours.